Thank you for joining us today for a demonstration of the Manager's Resource Center. We are so excited to make this resource available to you to provide better access to employee information and payroll reporting information. User guides are also available to help you access the system, and as always, your Merit Service team is happy to answer any questions that you may have. First, I'm going to show you how to log in and access the system. The very first time you log in, you're just going to go to www.meritresources.com and select the employer login. The second option there is Merit's Resource Center. You're just going to log in there. You will receive a user ID and password from your Merit Service team member. I'm just going to log in today using a demo. And if you noticed, I tabbed through to get through to the password section, and then you'll actually have to click with your mouse on the sign in, or you can tab and sign in that way, but you just can't hit enter. So just a note on that. And we are all logged in. Again, you'll see that this is the Elite Services Talent, just a demo site for us, but just for demonstration purposes, I wanted to make sure you had the information. First, you're going to see a Merit Support Team in the top section. So this team is going to be specific to your group. So all of your wonderful experts in payroll, benefits, and human resources. So this information is going to include their email addresses as well as their phone numbers. So you'll have access to them as soon as you have a question. You can just come right out here. Next, you're going to have access to all of your active employee information. I'm going to show you a separate section where you can get to all employees, so terminated and active. But just from your home page, you'll have access to your active employees, and you would just select their information, and their details would be reflected. Also, you'll have My Favorites section, and the very first time you log into the system, the My Favorites is going to be blank, so there'll be nothing listed here. This is really so you can manage those favorites on your own based off the information that you access most frequently. So you'll see, just as for an example, if you go to My Employees and employee details. So if you frequently accessed all of your employee information, both inactive and active, then you could come right out to your employee details and set this to add to favorites. And then from your home page, you'll see the employee details are there. You can also remove, so maybe you don't frequently access your labor union information. So if you go to that section, then you can go to Remove from Favorites, and then it'll be removed from your list. Another nice feature, just directly from your home page, is single sign-on to your Employee Resource Center. So as a management contact, you have access to all employee information, but you certainly, as an employee, would want access to your own information as well, so your specific benefits and pay vouchers and things like that. So if you select this little icon here and go to My ESS, then that will take you directly to your ESS, your employee self-service, and you'll be logged in. So there's no need for a second user ID and password. I do want to note here that for optimal use of the system, we do suggest you use Google Chrome. So if you're using Google Chrome, you will have the single sign-on functionality there with your employee self-service. You can also change your password here, and then you can always log out. A few just general navigation items within the Manager's Resource Center. If you go into My Company and Company Details, you'll have access to your specific company information, so just basic information that's pulled in from our system. So if you look at the details, you'll have that your active status, the type of company, your entity type, your contract date, so the date that you joined partnership with Merit, so just basic information about your company. You'll also see benefit information, so just basic benefit plans, workers' compensation information. So nothing you can change here. This is pulled directly from our system, but just as a point of reference. Next, under My Employees, if you go to Employee Details, anytime you see a link, then you'll select that and you'll have access to all of your employee information. Again, from the home page, you'll have access to your active employees, but from this search, you'll have access to all employees. Much like an Excel document, if you click on the header, then that'll sort for you. So this will sort by active employees. So if we select Bruce again, you'll see his basic employment information, so start date, employment type, the position, so just at-a-glance information. You can also look at his address information, his work and employment information, so what department and division he's set to work in. You can look at his pay information, so just at-a-glance pay information, and it does break it down by hourly, weekly, biweekly, semi-monthly, etc. And it also shows his effective date. So if he's recently gotten a pay raise, you'll see when that's reflected. Tax information, so what his current tax filings are. Direct deposit information. And then also if you're tracking skills and education, you'll be able to review that information here. Another nice feature from My Employees is the Employee Benefit Overview. Again, you'll just select the link and you will just select the employee that you'd like to look at. This time we'll select Bindi Irwin, and we'll see all of the benefits that she's enrolled in. If she's actively enrolled or if she's eligible, the pre-tax status, what the coverage level is, the effective dates, and then also the pay period contributions. So very nice at-a-glance information regarding benefits. From the dashboard, My Employees, you can also look at pay history, position history, status type history. For these history options, it's going to be your time with this system moving forward. So if you needed anything prior to that, then you would just let us know and we can access that information. But from this point forward, then it would track the history. So if you were to submit a change today, then that would be reflected. Another very nice feature that I'm excited to tell you about is how you'll be submitting personnel actions. Personnel actions can now be handled through the Merit Resource Center, and these include pay rate changes, status changes, new hire initiation, position changes, and termination initiations. From the home page, you'll just select My Employees, and you'll just select your desired HR action under the HR action options. As a first example, I'm going to show you how to do a pay rate change. You would just select the pay rate, select the employee link, and we'll choose good old Bruce again. It's going to show you what his current information is. So he's an active employee, full-time regular. He gets paid on a weekly basis. He gets paid $300 an hour. And so we're going to give him a new pay rate of, let's say he gets $310 an hour now. So you would select the $310, put in your type, and if you tab through that, then it's going to, based off his standard work hours of 40 hours a week, his new annualized rate. So it's going to populate that information for you. You will select an effective date. With the effective date, you can do a retroactively applied date or a future date. So if you're doing a future date, let's say you're really ahead of the game and this November you're going to be putting in all of your annual reviews that are going to be effective January 1st. You'll just select that date. And then you'll select your reason. So this was because he got a promotion. And then you'll hit save. As soon as you hit save, you'll see the information in the history. We will get notified, and you'll also have that showing us as active record. So in this case, because it's a future, it's not going to be reflected right away, but it would be based off the date of the effective date that you enter it in. But the point there is that it is real-time information. So if you were to make a change for today's date, so if we do it for Wednesday, November 4th, it's promotion. As soon as you put that in there, our system is going to update with that current information, as would your system. So there's no delays in entering that, which is a really nice feature. Next, just as another example of a personnel action change, if you went to My Employees, and let's say this person had a position change, you would select the employee, It's going to show his employee information. Select the link again for the new position code, so any position code that we have loaded in our system. The position effective date, the reason code, and then if you're doing a review date, then you can enter that as well. And again, as soon as you hit save, based off the date, the system would be updated. One additional note that I want to make regarding a position change specifically is when you're accessing this information, if you don't see the specific position code that you're looking for, please let a member of your service team know, and we'll provide you with the information to create a new position code. We can certainly accommodate whatever position you are adding or what you need, but if you do not see it there, we just request that you don't submit something to get it into the system, just because we want to make sure that we have got the most accurate information. So just let a member of your service team know. We'll make sure that the position is newly created for you. This is more prevalent when we go through the new hire initiation, so I'll speak more to that in just a few moments. With the Merit Resource Center employee onboarding tool, new hires are able to electronically sign all employee documents and enroll in benefits seamlessly. So I'm very excited to show you this next feature. It's referred to as the OBBE, or Onboarding Benefit Enrollment, or New Hire Initiation. Employees will receive an email notification that employment documents and benefit information is available on the Employee Resource Center, so their resource center, and they are then able to register on their own, so no need to wait for us to create their user ID and password, and they can complete enrollment immediately anywhere internet access is available. So no matter what your benefit waiting period is, there's no delays. Information is immediately available to them, so there's no delays with making their benefit elections. Your documents are available in the center via online forms, so you can automatically generate new hire paperwork and gather signatures online, and this does include W-4 documents, I-9 documents, and any other compliance forms that you may have. You have the ability to initiate the electronic onboarding for your new employees as soon as the offer is accepted. So you would do so by, once you're in the system, from the home page, you'll just select the My Employees and then the New Hire option. And you will populate the new hire record with the required information. The required information will be indicated in the red boxes. If you have additional information, feel free to include it, although it is not required, and it will be overwritten by any information provided by the employee. So if you have any of the additional information, you can, but just know whatever they enter is going to be the employee record. So you'll enter the basic required information as well as employment details. So you'll just select the link to put in whatever the detail is. This is going to be inactive. And again, with the position, I do want to just mention that if the position code or any of this information, division, department, is not available, please just let a member of your service team know, and we will add that information for you. It's really important that you choose accurate information and that you don't select any code just to bypass the system and get the information to the employees. And doing so can cause information, payroll and benefit enrollment delays with payroll processing or benefit enrollment. So we want to make sure that we've got the most accurate information loaded. So from the top again, you would just select Merit Resources. You do have to enter their Social Security number. It's a W-2 employee for the hire type. And for this, you are going to select this employee will be completing the onboarding on the web. And that's going to populate the special required fields. So for this, you would do the first and last name, their birth date, their address, and then you do have to populate an email address. And the email address is how we access information, or we provide information to the employees, rather. So you'll enter their email address, the employee details, their pay details, and then you would just select Save. Once you select Save, the information will be initiated to the employee, and you'll also see their ID right away. So if you are using a time clock, then that ID will be populated right away and available to you. Once you hit the Save button, an email will be sent to your employee, and the email explains the relationship between Merit Resources and your organization. It outlines the steps that they'll need to take to complete their payroll forms and the time expectation of the length of time it's going to take them to complete it. Typically, depending on the user, it's going to be between 30 and 40 minutes, but again, it could be a lot faster than that. It just really depends on the user. It will have a link within the email that will take them to a registration page. We do not need to provide them details with their login. Their login will be populated based off their registration. So it'll ask for a few identifying information pieces. So it'll ask for their last name and their social security number, and then it'll ask them to create a username and password. And then once they're in the system, it'll take them to an OBBE, or that onboarding benefit election section. They have 3 days to complete the payroll forms in line with the typical I-9 process. So within those 3 days, they would need to complete the forms, and they do get notification via email letting them know the time expectation and that they, if they haven't completed it in 2 days, then they have 1 day left and they need to take action. So that's information that they will be provided with. Another quick note, if they were to start the process and then get called away or they have to stop for whatever reason, then once they log back in, the system will take them right back to where they left off. So once they complete the payroll piece, then you as the manager will receive notification, and then you will need to just complete the I-9 portion. So the I-9 details, looking at the actual documents, just in line with your typical worksite authorization. And then once the record is completely saved, then they would be uploaded to our system. So again, there's no delays. It's a seamless process from the time that they complete their information and you complete the I-9 information as the manager from when we see it. So there's no delays there. Once they are finished with their employment paperwork piece, the benefit enrollment is automatically available to them based off of the work details that you provided. So the employment details, if you selected they were a full-time regular employee, then the system will know what benefits are available to them and the contribution levels that you've selected, and they will immediately be able to go through their benefit enrollment. So again, no delay for letters, no separate login. It's all right there through that main system. As I mentioned, you do have 3 days to complete the payroll paperwork, but with the benefits piece, you have up to 30 days to complete it. So even though it's immediately available to them, they have the freedom to log in and out of the system and to go through that enrollment piece at a later date if they potentially want to think about it or talk it over with a spouse. So they have that opportunity to do so. Next, I would like to go through entering time into the Manager Resource Center. Employers have the ability to enter their employees' time through the Manager Resource Center time entry feature. So from the home page, if you go to My Payrolls and Timesheet Entry, you will see each of your timesheet entry options. So if you have one standard pay cycle, then you'll just see one option, and you will just click on whatever payroll option is the appropriate option if you have more than one. And all of your information will be available to you there. A couple things that I want to talk through. The columns that are reflected can be edited and updated to reflect information that is pertinent to your organization. So if you would like to see different or additional codes, such as, if you don't see a bonus code and you would like to, or you don't see a commission code and you would like to, just contact your payroll service team member. Also, the employee pay rates can be removed for security purposes. So if you have a admin type user that would just need access to the timesheet entry only, we can certainly make that available. Hours for salaried employees will be preloaded as standard hours, so hours for those employees will not need to be adjusted or edited. So you see here Rhonda Rousey is a 40-hour-a-week employee. She's a salaried employee, and that's loaded for her. There's no need to enter those hours. However, if you're reporting other payable types, such as paid time off or holiday hours, we do ask that you enter that amount and decrease the populated amount. So if Rhonda had 8 hours of sick time, then we would just ask you to put in that information, and then you would reduce the regular hours to 32. Bonus and commission information would be entered as a dollar amount. So here you would just enter $100 if that was the bonus. And for these, you can just tab through. If you have specific information that you want to enter for an employee, you can select their name to drill down. And so maybe you would like to do a special time code for just that employee. If you drill down, and I'm going to return to show you again how I did that, you would just select their information. You would select the pay code and any additional that you have there, the hours. If you have a different position that you would like to track, then you can track the different position. If you want to track a different department, then you can track the different department. So there's some additional features that you can drill down to for employee-specific information. And you'll see the totals here listed. So as you enter and change that information, you'll see the totals here listed. So if you added multiple position codes, for example, for Albert, then when you go back to the home page, it'll show multiple lines there for him. So again, once in the detailed timesheet, you can add multiple entries, assign time to different dates, pay codes, positions, and departments. You may also cross-charge time to other departments and locations. If you're interested in doing so and the information is not loaded, as always, just contact a member of your payroll service team. When you're finished with the detailed time entry, you'll select Save or Return to close the detailed. Once you are finished, then you can finalize, and then we would get notification at the payroll team that you have entered your time. And that option is then removed. In order to access your payroll reports, you would go to My Payrolls and Payroll History. This is one that you may want to add to favorites if it's not already out there. So in this case, I'm going to add it to favorites. And then from my home page, I can just go to the Payroll History screen. At a glance, you'll see all the employees paid each month, month by month. You can also drill down to your specific payrolls. So I'm just going to select the link to drill down. At a glance, information will be by employee, their voucher numbers, their gross pay, gross earnings, taxes, deductions, their net pay amounts. So that information will be all available to you just at a glance. But additionally, if you select the Documents icon, then you will see all of your typical payroll reports. So to access those reports, which is a standard PDF, then you would just click on the PDF display. Finally, if you click on the Documents icon right from your home page, this will give you a plethora of reports that you can use to access employee information. Employee anniversary reports, birthday reports, census reports, and these reports do allow you to add additional filters. So if you really just wanted to look at your active employees full-time, then you would get a list for that, and when you run it, you'll have the option to export it to Excel. Certain reports also have date ranges, so if you, outside of your typical payroll report, if you maybe wanted to look at your benefit billing detail, you could choose your date ranged benefit report. So you would select the start of your search, and you would choose the last date. And then you can again do specific, you wanted to look for a specific ID, employee ID, or plan, but it allows you to put more parameters and filters on that report. And then you would just run it. So I would encourage you just to really look through these reports and see what's available and see what might be pertinent to you and your organization. For example, you may oftentimes need an overtime report, so you can select it by payroll schedule. If you wanted to do it for a certain date range, you could certainly do that. So again, just encourage you to kind of play around out here and familiarize yourself with the additional reports that you have available to you through the Management Resource Center.